So friends, today I'm going to start the explanation of a new drama called Death Game. At the beginning of the episode, we see our male lead whose name was Choi. He was in a strange place in a very bad condition and was crying and screaming. Why would I have to go there when I have not done anything wrong? A girl walks towards him with a gun and says that it is your fault that you came looking for me. Before I can come to you, the girl comes in front of him and hits him on the head. Pay gun points and shoots. The scene shifts and we see 7 years ago. Choi was getting ready and going somewhere. Then he gets a call from his girlfriend Jisoo. From their conversation, we come to know that Choi is working for a company named Taikang. He was going for the final interview round. This was quite impressive because Choi had not even graduated yet. From Jisoo's words, it seemed that she was sure that Choi would be selected. Choi tells her that after the interview, Will calls her and hangs up the phone. Choi was very confident in himself. He thinks that he will have to take this job before he graduates. Choi was just walking when a man bumps into him and stands in the middle of the road. A car comes from the front and hits him and he goes flying and falls in front of Choi and dies. Seeing this in front of him, Choi was very nervous. He was trembling even in the middle of the interview. Due to this, his interview also gets spoiled, and he is not selected. At that time, he thinks in his mind that he had got a good chance which slipped away from his hands. He did not know then that he will keep searching for a job for the next 7 years. After the rejection in the interview, Choi finds his student to repay the loan. He had to do many part-time jobs. Meanwhile, due to COVID-19, he started finding it more difficult to find a job. While the people with him were gaining work experience, he started doing part-time jobs one after the other. It had become difficult for him to achieve an ordinary life in which a person gets married after getting a job. He applied for jobs at thousands of places, went to many interviews, but got only rejections everywhere. After spending 7 years like this, he got a chance to go to the final interview of Taken Company, which gave him hope again. Then we are shown the scene of Choi's interview day. An interviewer looks at his resume and says that this job requires experience, but you have only Choi has only done part-time jobs when he was about to speak to explain his point. Another interviewer asks about his dad. Choi tells that his dad died when he was 5 years old. On hearing this, the interviewer says that's why you had to work so hard and praises Choi, saying that even after so many part-time jobs, you never stopped working on yourself. That's why you acquired so many certifications. Choi was very happy after leaving the interview room. But that's why he gets a call from one of his friends who takes the name of a person and asks if he had invested on his advice. Choi says yes and asks, why? What happened? Hearing the answer, Choi runs towards Hansu's house. Actually, Hansu goes through a scam. He used to manipulate the market, and now he had lost everyone's invested money and himself had run away somewhere. Choi reaches Shu's house and tries hard to open the door. He was crying and shouting that, "How can you do this to me?" He tried to complain. He also goes to the police station and tells that he has lost all his money, but the policeman says that he cannot help him because according to Korean law, if the investment is done keeping the profit in mind, then if there is a loss, then he will be charged with fraud. Choi becomes very helpless after learning that he can't take the case. But what can he do? He remembers how Suso had convinced him to invest the money. Choi just started crying about his condition. Later, he goes to Jisoo's house. Sometime before reaching there, he sees Jisoo getting out of the car with some boy and the boy gives her flowers. After the boy leaves, he goes to Jisoo and asks, "What have you done? Have you made a new boyfriend?" Jisoo refuses. And Choi says that I feel bad that you are wasting your time chasing a loser like me. Jisoo says that instead of talking like this, it is better that you work harder for this. Outside, Choi says, "What do you think I've been doing for so long? But no matter how hard I try, things can't change for me. I'm tired myself too." Choi breaks up with Jisoo and says, "I can't help you. Call and give him any more trouble." When Choi reaches his home, it has started raining. He sees that his house has been locked and all the things have been kept outside in the rain. Actually, he was not able to pay the rent for a few months, due to which the landlord did this. He posted a notice on the door saying that he would not even return his deposit. Choi sits in the rain outside his house all night. In the morning, he gets a message on his phone from Taikang Company, in which it was written that he has been rejected in the interview. He cannot control himself. He starts crying loudly. Now he was completely defeated. He decides to commit suicide and reaches the top of a building. He remembers the man who died in front of him a year ago and thinks that because of him his life has become like this. He thinks in his mind that I have no fear of dying. I am afraid of staying alive. I am more afraid of death. Thinking that he will get relief from his pain, he rushes down from the building. At that time, we see that he is receiving a call from his mom on his phone. When Choi regains consciousness, he sees that he was inside a private plane. He gets confused and thinks that to go to the afterlife one has to travel in a plane. Then when he sees his reflection in the screen placed in front of him, his real-life face has changed. He was wondering how this happened. So he looks at he sees a girl in front of him who was wearing goggles. She removes her glasses and Choi gets scared after seeing her eyes. The scene shifts and Choi in his original form comes to a place like a tall tower with the girl around him. Seeing this, Choi asks the girl whether we are in hell. Then the girl says that when you are going to hell, I brought you here because I have to punish you. Choi asks why. Why will I get punishment? So the girl says because you made fun of me. Choi asks, who are you to punish me? Then the girl suddenly comes to him and takes him to the edge of the tower and hangs him by the neck. Choi looks down. So there were a lot of scary creatures. He somehow asks the girl, what are you? And she says, I am the one you made fun of. I am death, and you will be punished for insulting me. She releases Choi's throat, and he keeps falling down, where many creatures rise like him. But while falling, Choi comes back to that plane. Death was also there. He asks, what will be my punishment? Then she says, that God has given humans a privilege. I had given a gift by which he used to experience death only once in his lifetime. I am taking that privilege from you. Now you will have to die 12 times. Your soul will go into the bodies of 12 people whose death is near so that you can experience how much death is. Death can be painful. She further says that if you can avoid death in any body, then you can live the rest of your life in that body. Choi says that, but I do. I want to be alive and I'm dead. So now it's all over. After this, Death says, do you think everything ends with death? Death is just the beginning. Saying this, she disappears from there. As soon as she leaves, the weather outside changes and the plane starts shaking. Choi, he wears a life jacket. He thinks that he will die, but it is not so. It is just a turbulator. After some time, the plane becomes stable. Choi does not understand what happened. He thinks in his mind whether he survived. He is in the plane. When he explores here and there, he sees that there were many expensive things inside. Suddenly a shining stone enters inside him and he starts seeing all the memories of the man in whose body his soul was. This park is of a man named Jinat. The man had a body who was the second son of the CEO of Taikang. He spent his childhood thinking that every family has private jets, pools and gardens like his. But ever since he was born, he was superior to his elder brother in everything. He was made to compete. After all, after defeating his brother, now he was going to become the CEO of Taikang. His dad had chosen him as his successor, and he was being trained to become a CEO. Before so many memories come, Choi gets confused and then thinks the company in which I was so desperate to get a job starts becoming happy, but its happiness does not last long. Suddenly, the engine of the plane explodes and then the entire plane catches fire and Choi also dies. He burns to death in the fire and then reaches the place where death was. She says that there are 11 times left. Choi walks towards death. There are many bullets kept on his table and asks, "Why these bullets?" Then Death says that when I shoot at you, your soul will go to a new body. Choi then asks about that glowing stone. Then Death tells that through that stone, all the memories and abilities of that person will come into you. Hearing this, Choi says to himself that, like a video game, and then asks what happened to Park Jonti. Death explains to him in video game terms that Park Jonti played that game till the ending and you played the same game till the ending. Started playing from the previous save point. According to your efforts, you can also get the second ending of that game, which asks, if it is possible for me to survive, what could I have done to survive that plane crash? It's not my job to tell you how to survive. Then Choi asks what will happen if I do and survive till the end. Death says that then you will have to go to hell. She points towards a door and says that hell is behind it. She takes Choi inside hell, where he starts crying in fear after seeing the condition. When he comes back, he cries, saying, "What did I do wrong that I have to go there?" Death says it was your mistake that you let me go before I came looking for you. Choi starts crying and says that even when I was alive, my everyday was like a hill, and even after death, I will have to go there. Death says that then you will have to survive. If you do good work in your new life, then maybe you won't have to go to hell. Choi gets a little hope in his mind. He asks if this is possible, and Death says, yes, your judgment on that point will be handled not by me, but by God. Then she comes forward and shoots Choi in the head again, and upon waking up in another body, Choi sees that he is falling from a plane and realizes that he does not have a parachute, and there were many other people around him. He starts asking for help from those who had parachutes. Then the glowing stone comes and gets absorbed in it, and he sees the memories of this man. He comes to know that his name is Song Jasip. He has always been a fan of extreme sports, and he is living a dangerous life because of his challenge. His name is in the Guinness World Records for time, and today he is making a record of jumping from a height of 8,000 meters from the ground without a parachute. A safety net has been installed on the ground. The distance where he had to land was being telecasted live. If he could do it today, he was going to get 3 billion cash from his sponsor. After regaining his memories and abilities, Choi suddenly starts feeling confident, and all his fear is gone. It happens. He thinks in his mind that let's try for 3 billion. He stabilizes himself in the air and balances himself, then looks down to see where the safety net is installed, and he was taking himself in the direction of the safety net. But he falls at a distance from it and dies instantly. And with this episode ends here. See you in the next video for what happened next. If you like the explanation, then like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.